Okay. They're mine now.
Yes.
Hello, it's good to be here. The sun is shining. I had nothing to do with that. I heard you had snow 2 days ago. I'm responsible for that. I'm here for the next 3 days. Here 2 days already, and this Friday is a big concert with the big band. I'm a part of that with Carl Allen playing drums, and Donald Vega, a wonderful fine pianist, and Antonio Hart are the guests for this concert. You know, when I do these kinds of things, what always happens are the following two things. One, the questions don't start coming till it's time to go. And second, the first question always asked me is, what was it like playing with Miles Davis? So you can't ask that one, and you got to talk about anything else. Okay, so who has the floor? I have the floor, so I open up the first question, and we'll see how it goes from here. Here we go. Nothing until I get ready to head toward the door.
Yeah.
Yes?
Hi, sir. Can you talk about your daily practice routine?
Right now, it's not much of a daily routine because I'm still kind of busy. When I was a student in school, when I was 12, I practiced maybe 2 hours every day as a 12-year-old. When I got to high school and I needed to play better, I practiced 3 hours a day. When I got to college, it was so competitive, and they're all looking for the best chair, the first chair of the orchestra. The student orchestra had to play better than those people did, so I practiced 4 hours a day as a full-time college student. Now I'm busy, so if I practice 3 hours a week, I consider myself very fortunate. But at my age, I've kind of had those days of practicing 4 hours a day already. You know, I kind of did that already. And one of the things I learned was how to practice, one, and to practice every day. Not going to grandma's house for the weekend, no celebrating Christmas 2 days in a row, you know. Every day you gotta see your instrument. There are discoveries waiting for you. If you don't take advantage of those, I'd be disappointed in all of you, you know. I teach right now, I have 3 students from the Manhattan School of Music, 3 master's students, and I have 9 students of my own. And one of the things I make sure they understand is that whoever has the 8 o'clock lesson, 8 a.m., that person can't tell me they worked until 2 o'clock in the morning and they canceled the lesson. That's unacceptable to me. Here's a chance to learn how to play better. And you're going to tell me that you'd rather get a 3-hour nap than miss this chance. If you really mean that, you can't be my student, because you're not allowing me to help you. You know? I have a podcast page. I'm learning those language terms now, and they ask me to give a saying every week, every month. And the ones that got the most acclaim was the following: no one gets better sleeping until 10 a.m. No one gets better sleeping till 10 a.m. No one gets better sleeping till 10 a.m. I try to impress you with that, because I'm working. I'm as old as any 4 of you here. You know? And I got up at 5:15 the other morning, as I have been for 3 days a week at 5:15 a.m. And I do my workout with the trainer routine for almost 25 years, 30 years. You know? I work till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 8 o'clock trying to get some notes practicing in. So when you tell me you got a late night and you can't cancel my lesson, you can't be my student but about 2 more weeks. You know? No one gets better sleeping past 10 o'clock a.m. I'll say that again just so you understand I really mean that. No one gets better sleeping past 10 a.m. Some of the questions that you'll ask me will require me to say the word I. And I'm not there yet with my ego, you know. So what I like to try to do is find someone who, when I point to you, all you got to do is say I for me. Okay? So You're the one.
I.
Yeah, not yet. But till the question comes up, then I point to you. If I need to say I, you be the person. Okay, now you got to stay awake and give me your undivided attention. Okay, so we got that done. So my practice routine, again, right now, as you know, the airlines don't allow us to take our instruments, our basses on airlines. So I have a practice bass or a fold-up bass, or I use whatever bass is there. One of the things
I.
do is to play a simple scale to find out what does this bass allow me. I want to know, are the strings clean? Is the fingerboard dirty? What's the curvature of the strings? What kind of strings are they? How high does the bass go? Does it go high enough for me to, it's called stand-up bass, and
I.
stand up. So it means that
I.
for 5 concerts, we'll see that only one bass that matches my height.
I.
Have to adjust my physical approach to the bass physically because it doesn't go high enough for me. So now I hate to play sitting down because it just doesn't feel aggressive enough the way I think about the bass lines.
I.
Next thing I do is play an etude I have memorized that allows me to find out how close does this bass feel to mine. Where are the positions on this bass? If
I.
play C on the G string, is this note on the A string still E flat? Then I tune up the bass.
I.
Recognize that if
I.
play a harmonic G on the G string and play the open G, if it's not in tune, that string is about shot already. It's called false. It means it should have been traded in or if it replaced 6 months ago. But
I.
I'm stuck with this. So I have to kind of gear my thoughts to allow me to kind of play the notes I would normally play somewhere else on this instrument, or find a different choice of notes. You know, unfortunately, people expect us to play for what play like they're paying us to do at the drop of a hat. And on our own instruments, that's a lot more easy said than done. But since I'm playing a borrowed bass, it makes me find a different order of notes, a different bass line construction, maybe a different key for a different song, because this bass that's now not mine does not allow me to do those things that I would fall into the routine of doing. So I find each bass a whole new lesson for me. One can really play the bass, and 2 can really play this bass. I'm batting 500. I got 3 good days or 2 good basses. I'm okay with that. But I'd like to think that this free lesson I'm getting makes the next gig even better, because I've been forced to play a different system in my head on what this bass will allow. Now, wake up. Have on this particular concert tour my own bass. I call it the flyaway bass that's been made just to pack in a box that's like this, and it makes me have a better chance of doing as best I can what I think I hear that makes the band sound wonderful. My plan whenever I play the bass is to make that band I'm playing with, whether it's my group or like this big band, this Friday night concert, miss me. I want them to miss me being there. I stay awake. Want them to understand the power of the bass. Tell my students that the bass player is the band. That the bass player controls the harmony, by his or her choice of notes. The bass player controls the dynamic, not this, but the presence of the band by his note choice. That the rhythm he plays these notes affects the tenor of the drums. It affects when the saxophone player is going to play this rhythm. It affects the piano player when he hits the chord almost like this note that I play, play, makes this almost afraid to do this because I have another note coming for him. He controls the pitch of the band. Now, I've been asked by some very famous people when I'm playing with them, am in tune. And my job is to tell them, I don't think so. Benny Golson asks me all the time, am I sharp or flat? Like some guy named Miles asked me, am I sharp or flat? Take the mute out and come back, sharp or flat? Flat, please. They're my friends. They trust my sense of pitch intonation and understand what that really does for the band when we are all on the same pitch level. The expectation of my note choices, it controls their expectation of my next set of notes. I would like to think that the note I pick, I have their attention, not because of the volume, but because of that note. And the note that follows that one. That's my job. I have one note that does all these things. And my job is to make these notes so effective that when I'm gone, when I'm gone, there's a tear shed for those people because I'm not there. My dream is to have that happen. Bass is a wonderful instrument. Yeah. Hope my students understand the gravity of what they're expected to do. You know. One of the things we do in my classes, or do with my students, is to show them bass technique. So we have method books. We have a certain, I have a certain process, a certain plan, a certain curriculum that all my bass player students have to do. Yeah. When they walk into my studio, they want to play something like Footprints. Yeah. Tell them, not yet. Let's work on Fingerprints. That's much better. So we have a process. I have them go buy some books, and part of the first 4 or 5 lessons is just to understand how the bass works and why I'm asking them to change the way they play the instrument. You know? For me, the bass sounds great to play it horizontally rather than just pure vertically. I love that kind of stuff. It makes the bass sound rich, makes the bass sound this big when you only use this register. You have a better choice of notes right away, and I like to feel that the bass player is the king of the band. In my bio called Finding the Right Notes, my quote is, the bass player is the quarterback. Those of you who are football fans, he's the quarterback of the band. I have a big band in New York called Ron Carter's Great Big Band, and call them my 16-piece quartet, because treat them exactly that way. They come to work expecting some different notes. They come to work expecting some different rhythms. They come to work expecting to be expected to bring the same level of enthusiasm, the same level of curiosity, the same level of using their talent that they did last night to tonight, because I'm bringing that myself. That's what we do. That's part of my job. Uh,
Aye.
enough of me. Let's have a question from out there again.
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
We both have a favorite arranger, and this program that you're doing here is dedicated to this man. Can you elaborate what makes a great arrangement for you? Why is Bob such a great arranger to you?
It was Bob Friedman, who was our friend for many years, who I like to call left the concert about a month ago. And he was working for me for almost 20 years with various such projects, from a quintet to a trio to my first big band arrangement. One of the things I like about Bob, as I do with his current arrangements that you found, is that he would trust my judgment to change his bass part. And I've had some big band arrangers who have not been pleased with that idea, you know. And I have to stop to say, wait a minute. This band has 5 saxophones, there's 4 trumpets, it has 4 trombones, a rhythm section, and only 1 bass player. In this case,
Aye.
am that person. So as the only person, I have some say-so in how it's going to sound, whether they like it or not. Of course,
Aye.
hope that they appreciate what I do and understand when I change a note, it makes that chord a whole different vibe. It changes that mindset for that chord, or for that phrase, or for that song. And if
Aye.
find the right note, it changes the whole record. And I already did that. And it has in fact changed the whole mindset of the arrangement. You know? So Bob trusts my judgment to trust his judgment, that his concept of this tune, or these tunes, are valid and they are valuable. All I ask of him is to allow me to have a chance to make his arrangement even better by my choice of bass notes. By the note that
Aye.
think will make his arrangement just go like this. That it opens up a sound of a voice, chord voicing, that rather than me playing the C of a C chord, I'll play the B flat first. Or I'll play the G first. Or if it's a C9, play the D first. Just so the chord has another volume to it, has another dimension, has another bam to it.
Aye.
I'm very good at that.
Aye.
I'm really good at that.
Aye.
No one gets better sleeping past 10 a.m. Yes, another question? Here we go. I'm headed toward the door. And now all the hands go up.
So,
Yes.
would he not write a part for you? Or
Oh, yes. He has a plan for the bass player, whoever that happens to be. In this case, me. But he trusts me to find out a better way of making the bass part work and the line that is accompanying everybody else by my choice of notes. He trusts that I've given it some thought. That's what I walk in, that's my job. I'm supposed to see past what he wrote. And most arrangers trust the person that they hire. That's why they hire those guys. Lead trumpet player, lead drummer. They know who's going to help their part have another life and
Aye.
do that. So, anyone who is planning on coming to the concert on Friday, you have an insight on how those arrangements are going to work, because I'm going
Aye.
to play my own notes. Right now,
Aye.
kind of fooling around, you know. Yeah, man, let me, no, you know.
Aye.
I'm there right now. But on Friday night, new ball game.
Aye. Aye.
We'll own the band.
Aye.
will own the band. Isn't science great? Quiet. Okay, next question. Yes.
When you've seen, obviously, jazz develop in different directions over the years, what's your view on the current health of jazz, and where do you see it going from here?
I.
Have no idea where it's going. If you find out, give me the address. Look, all these young people, they have a chance to affect the direction of the music. It depends on how serious they are, how dedicated they are, how interested they are, and how human they are. It does not depend on how talented they are. Of course that's important. How disciplined they are to develop this talent. Are they curious enough to find another way of playing a C7? Are they determined to find whether C7 works better tomorrow than they did this gig? Are they determined to be a human being in terms of making this music have a life and some stories? Someone in this room is going to be that person.
I.
I'm already here. I'm doing my share. It's time for someone else to carry the flag. Maybe one of you.
I.
When you call me, I don't work cheap. I'm very expensive,
I.
but I play good. Okay? Where's it going? There's no way to know. I just want to be a part of the wave. It's nice to know that there are concepts that are still waiting to be discovered. That there are people who are like scientists, who every night they go to this laboratory called a bandstand. And the bandstand is full of guys who are lab technicians. And the band leader brings to them these chemicals called tunes. And he expects these lab technicians, all three of them, or four of them, or whatever, 16 tomorrow night, Friday afternoon. He expects these 16 curious lab technicians to jumble these equations, to change the portions of these tunes being put into these tubes, to shake them up and have it happen.
I.
I'll be the guy with the head lab jacket on Friday night.
I.
We'll be one of the guys who give out the chemicals.
I.
We'll be one of the guys who watch you guys mix them. And you will know if it doesn't work. That's your job. My job is to watch it take place.
I.
And I'm looking forward to having you guys find things to do. Every night's a chance to go to school free for you people. To see what kind of combinations you come up with these little chemicals that someone lays on you. To see if you're disciplined enough. If you're curious enough. If you're challenging your talent enough to find new things to make this music have a different color, a different life, a longer lifespan because of your view of how it can work.
I.
I'm still doing that. And it continues Friday night, 8 o'clock. Okay? Next question. Yes,
What's the gig that you will never forget?
All of
there
them.
must be many.
all of them. I have not one favorite gig as many as I've had. Every gig is a different class. Every gig offers a different level of improvement for me. Every gig offers a different set of tunes. Every gig offers me a different personalities to contend with. Every gig, the bass feels different. Every gig, my hands feel different. My job is to make all this stuff work into an idea. My job See how the band trusts my judgment. That when
I.
play a line, this is the bridge, that's the bridge, guys. I don't care where you are. This is the bridge. This is the first date. That's my job. And
I.
I'm fantastic at that. Really.
I.
I'm great at that. So every job is important to me. Because I'm learning how to do this kind of stuff. You know?
I.
I'm finding more ways to give musical signals with a note or two that informs this band that the only bass player in this band thinks that we're hearing the tune. They think this is the right A flat. This is the right chord for this part. This is the right dynamic for this tune.
I.
I'm getting better at that. Okay. Yes,
Do you have an album that you remember the most?
I can't hear you.
Do you have an album that you remember the most?
No. I'm still making them. You know, maybe that's going to come up pretty soon. But again, if I answer that question out loud, that means that the other 2,222 weren't very good. And I don't mean that. I cannot mean that. So I would never say my answer out loud. 2,221 choices. How can I guess that? Yes. Don't feel terrible, man. Someone always has to ask that question twice. And
I.
have learned to skirt the issue in different ways so they aren't offended. And my answer doesn't make them feel put upon or embarrassed. You know? No. I'm still making records. And theoretically, that answer can't happen because I'm still active. Maybe Friday night's recording, that may be the one. But I'll also record next week, so maybe it's next week. I don't think about that. I appreciate every lesson I've learned.
I.
I appreciate they called me about the choices they had.
I.
Appreciate that I think I did a great job for them. I know I played the best I could. I can only hope that when they do another project, they think I'm worth their while to call again. That's the most I can do. All I can do is play my brains out. Well, part of it. Okay? Yes?
Okay, what did you learn on the bandstand that you really could not envision learning in a college?
The need to play good every night. With whomever happens to be there. You know, in college, cliques take place. A bunch of guys here, a bunch of gals there, my friend over here, you know, these groups. And I'm not sure that these groups, as they have put themselves together, are the best place, the best way to make you feel it's essential to play great every night. I'm not sure that they will encourage you just to step outside your box for a moment. I'm not sure they encourage you to be more understanding with your fellow musicians in that band. I'm not sure they tell you how to say no. I'm not sure they will tell you how to be responsible in this band. I'm not sure they will tell you that this night, this set, would be a great chance to go one level up from where you are right now. Because I'm not sure they have the thirst and the need to get better. When you're on the bandstand with the big fish, I mean, that's part of the responsibility. You can't play a terrible night. You go in expecting to have a chance to play some great notes, to play a great dynamic. I'm not sure college teaches you that. You know? They teach wonderful things. I'm not sure that they could possibly teach that because of the student's age, the students' different levels of maturity, different focuses on career, different styles that they're still investigating, different likes and dislikes of tunes, their ability or desire to learn someone else's music. They're not wishing to be told, what a terrible note. And I'm really good at that.
Aye.
I'm really good at that. That's a terrible voicing, man. Don't do that again. You know? Yes. I want you to help me sound better.
Aye.
Help me. And I'm not sure college builds that, breeds that kind of almost desperation of sounding good every night. When you get out of college and you're not going to the dormitory or hanging around for beer parties or whatever kids do, you're fighting for your life on the bandstand because there's somebody out there who wants your job. I'm not sure college can teach you how to respond to that challenge of really playing good for a living. They can do other things for you. How to live with people, how to socialize, how to study perhaps. But you're going to learn how to practice on your own, for example. You're going to know how to ask for questions from somebody else. I'm not sure college is geared to teach that, for as good as they are. And right now, they're the next wave of people who are going to make this music do something. They're coming out of these universities and music programs at some point. Good for them. But I think they're looking forward to get better with the big fish.
At what
And in the
age?
college, they're almost all equal.
What age did you start working outside the school, like professionally?
I was 19. Before TV, before iPods,
Yeah.
before iPad, before cell phones, yeah. Before those things, I was working outside, working for a living. Yeah. Yes.
Ron, in the last 2 days, I've learned that your note placement can be very special, and it's always very full and rich on music. But sometimes it's like that I really don't understand it directly. It's like that your note can be very laid back or like really on top. And I want to know if there's an inner pulse who tells you where the note has to be, or is it like that you hear the phrase so strong that it sounds right to everyone who plays with you?
Well, I like to think that my note choice is that great, that everyone's going to love it, you know, and I accept the risk that it may not be that. But when I play a note to get your attention, it's supposed to do that. So my effort in that case is successful with that note. Now, if I've prepared this note correctly, and if I resolve this note correctly, everybody hears it. That means on Friday, 15 people will hear this note we talk about.
Yeah.
And if I've approached it correctly, if I've played this note correctly, and if I have resolved it, they'll stop the band. That means on 15 people. We'll see. We'll keep score. See. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it keeps going. Yeah. My sense tells me that it's supposed to work.
Okay.
Yeah. I hear it here. My job is to build it so this note must be here.
Yeah, it sounds like exactly like that. It's like the note is there before it comes. And it's like
But
I
I'm
can-
starting here.
Yeah, it's like I can hear it. It's like they were at that moment in You Don't Know What Love Is, and there's this.
Well, I know what
bar
love
where-
is, though, man.
There's like this one bar where are 4 chords in it, and there's one resolving note, and you play like 7, 8, or 9 bass notes before that note, and it resolves perfectly. I really don't know what's going on. I just try to follow that, and it resolves so perfectly. And it's like that. At this time, it's not like that that university guy and put out the metronome or something, or like and click it. It's like that. It's just music and it works, and it's cool to feel it and to feel that it works. Like it's just like that own thing, and it moves on its own. It's not like that there is something behind it. It's just that phrase, and it's music, and it's like I'm that kind of guy where I really love to put a metronome on and do crazy stuff with it, and follow it and do polyrhythms and stuff like that. But like your kind of timing is like ahead of that, you know. It's like that it works ahead of my math skills. When you know.
Yay!
I think you know what I mean.
Yes, yes. Well, you know, one of the questions said there were 2 questions I'm always asked. This is the 3rd one I forgot about. I'm always asked, do I play ahead of the beat or behind the beat?
Yeah.
And I always say,
I.
if the conductor does this, why would
I.
play this? Or if the conductor does this, why would
I.
play this? I play where I play right there where he counts it off. Now, my rhythm job is to fool with displacement.
Yeah.
The note may start here, it may start here, but I'm playing it. And I'm playing it right in this slot.
Yeah.
You know, so where the beat is, that's where
I.
I'm supposed to be. Now my notes may be somewhere else, but my beat is right there.
Yeah. That's it.
And it drives me crazy sometimes. However,
I.
I'm good at that. Yes.
Are you never nervous that you might mess with people too much, that it might go the other direction?
No.
Feels like it.
Look,
I.
I'm the only bass player in the band. They're gonna fire me? Who's gonna play bass for the rest of the night? No, I got those guys. Come on. Yeah.
I.
Trust my sense of musical judgment. Yeah. And one of the things a good sideman does, side person, sorry ladies, is to know what's going to work with certain musical environments. That's part of all of our jobs who are going to be freelancers and side persons. You got to know at which point an F sharp will not fit on an F major chord. And when to try that. Every night, those places seem to be a different location in the band. Different tune, different tempo. That these notes that do your personality show up. You know. One of the difficult things with this music is the places where they belong always changes, depending on how fast the tune is, what the chords are, you know, how the bass sounds, how your hands, all these factors are part of making a selection. And I'm happy to say that I think that
I.
trust my judgment. And I understand what environment will tolerate these notes and these rhythms that I hear in my head, and which environments it's not going to work at all. And trust my sense of being an adult. That I'm not going to beat this guy in the head with an F sharp on the F chord when he doesn't really dig it. That's foolish. And I've made those foolish choices. And had a great time. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
They didn't think so, but I did. I thought it was a great choice. And they said, what? You know? I have a good story for you. About 25 years ago, I was making a record with a very famous guitar player. And this tune was something like So What, one of those kind of offshoots of that tune. And on the first chord of the tune, I played a big fat G. You know? It's a D minor tune. You know? And I see this guitar player almost 25 years later. He said, "Hey, Ron Carter." I said, "Yeah, what? You know? You mean the record we made 25 years ago?" I said, yes. You played the G? I said, yes. I finally figured out what to do with that. I trust my judgment. They're supposed to work. For him, it didn't work for him until 25 years later. He understood what that note could do. At that point in the tune, after all these choruses of normal stuff, that this guy has enough to play a G on the downbeat of So What, and have it just do what it's supposed to do. I love that stuff. Yeah. That's my territory. That's my house. Yeah. Okay? Yes. Yes again.
Talk to us about ego. You work with a lot of different musicians. How do you manage your band? How do you work when you are a side person? You set up this advisor for saying I several times, yet you're still come across as a very confident and proud person. So how do you manage your own ego in the band and with other people?
Well, you know, my ego tells me to sit down. You know? That. You know? I've been placed in some very awkward situations because I expected more respect than I got. Was very upset that I allowed myself to get caught up in that. That expectation of grandeur from strangers, for example, you know. Or when go to a hotel, check in on the gig, you know, right? And the rooms aren't available at this time that morning, you know. And that's a good chance for me to say, well, man, I'm kind of famous. Why can't get a room right now? They'll say, "Mister, I don't know who you are, man, but there are no rooms. Not until 1 o'clock or whatever it is, you know." It's those situations that just kind of smacks you. Say, "Wait a minute, man. You're just one guy. They got a whole hotel here with no rooms. So what?" You know. As a band leader, treat everybody the same. Respect their talent. I respect their ability to make music happen. I expect them. I respect their being professional. Expect their musical choices. And expect them to call me a maestro. Because that's the top. When they say maestro, that. I trust them to understand what that word means. So I'm not worried about, don't worry about that kind of stuff, man. You know, trying to find the right notes. I can't do that and worry about people, about egos. Life is too short. There aren't enough tunes. There aren't enough choruses. There aren't enough gigs. There aren't enough nice ties to go through all that stuff. You know? Once again,
Aye.
say, no one gets better sleeping till 10 o'clock.
Aye.
You can't do that and have an ego. You get up and get ready. Get up and practice. You know? Get up and say hello to your bass or guitar, whatever you play, every morning. Yeah, I'm still here. You know? That. Okay? One more. Yes, sir.
When you teach students that stay with you for a long time at the college, how much, obviously you teach them how to play the instrument, but how much do you stick just to that, or in terms of preparing them for what comes after when they leave you? How far do you go to that place that it doesn't exactly have to do with playing the instrument?
One of the reasons
Aye.
invite them down to my gigs is to see that. Not, of course I'm playing the gig, and they will see that. But what I hope they will also see is my preparation for the gig. What time do I get there before the gig starts? Is my music in place? Is my instrument way past being barely playable? Do I bring an air of preparedness to this job? How do I treat my fellow musicians? What kind of vibe do I have? And I hate that word vibe, but I don't know another word right now, you know. When I stopped teaching in college, my language skills with kids kind of disappeared. And my language skills are probably still 1980. You know, word, you know, dude. I'm still kind of there, you know. You know, I got an email about 6 months ago from a person who asked me, who had the audacity to ask me that I not show them what I could show them. And I was insulted. I said, man, you don't know me. How could you think that I'm so insecure that will teach these students only part of what I know? I was mad. I was mad for a week. How could this guy, how could he dare insult me to think that I'm so insecure at what I do that I'm worried about these guys taking my job, that will sabotage their career, that will not prepare them to go out and earn a living. I was mad for a month, actually. I said, how could this person think that I'm made like that? And I couldn't get of a guy who thinks that happens to people. I don't know where he's from. I don't know what his environment is, man. But he's not from the environment that I know. And certainly not an environment that endorses sabotaging your talent, man, your competitors. What is that, man? You know, watch basketball games on TV because I'm really busy, you know. And what I've always noticed has always upset me at the game. Something really very simple. When the opposing team or the home team goes for a foul shot, free, the audience, the fans who are facing that basket, they do all this stuff. Man, how chicken shit is that? And this guy is thinking that I encourage that mindset to the opponents. That I would deliberately, I'd say to myself, I would deliberately find a way to ill-prepare him for a job that I might be responsible for playing at some point. No, man. No way, Jack. I encourage them to come see me play so they can see me off the bass. So they can see how I respond to people. so they can see how people respond to me, how the band responds to my requests of them, how they don't question my judgment. The tune is in a different key than last night, they got to play it. That's my job. If it's faster than last night, if the order of the sets is different, that's my job. I'm as good at that as I can get, and have earned their respect because I respect them. And I want my students to see this. It isn't just that I play good every night or I try to play good every night. It's a whole package of having an aura of being strong, but always looking for help. That's the only way I could put that, you know. And yes, I think I prepare them for a life off the base as well as I can, you know. And I like to think that for as many of them as they're out there, that they're successful partly because I've shown them ways to be successful that involve playing the bass and involve life off the instrument. You know, I have a couple of grandsons, I have 3 actually, 4. And 3 of them were visiting me in New York 6 months ago or so. We were walking down the street, you know, and there's a homeless guy trying to push this cart full of his stuff along the street, and the curb was really high. And his goods were in the shopping cart stuff, you know. And he was really having a tough time getting it across the street. So I told the kids, wait here, guys. I'm going to go do this for a moment. So I went to the guy. I said, man, look, I got this for you. And I pushed it across the street like 6 feet, you know. And he went on about his way, you know. And I told my grandsons, you got to do that someday. You got to stop your shit. You got to stop your show. And be humanly behavior right now. No warm-ups, no intros, no vamps, right here, right now. I want them to see that grandfather wasn't play the bass. That's important for me and for my students. It's a pretty long answer, but it's a pretty difficult question.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes? Thank you. What time is it? 5:45? 5:55?
6:55.
I got great time.
Yes.
I myself, I have great time. Ask Carl Allen. One more question and I'll go to have my lunch. One more question.
Can I ask you a funny question for the ending of this?
Well, yes.
Did you ever listen to a record and your thought was, wow, that's a really neat bass part, and then found out that it was yourself who's playing it?
Yes.
I knew it. I knew it.
And been very embarrassed. Yes.
Thanks for the honesty.
Yeah. Who's that guy, man? Is he giving lessons somewhere? Gotta find that guy. And on bass, Ron Carter's, I knew it. Not true. Yeah, that's happened. Okay, I have time. One more question. Yes.
Do you have any recording of the recording you did with Jim Hall, the Duos?
Oh, I have a lot of those. I miss Jim dearly. We were partners for almost 30 years. Yeah. His job was to write the arrangements down, and my job was to make them real. And we worked that to death. I loved it. Yeah. I had to rehearse, and so did he. He bring him to the gigs. He Ron, try this out. Okay, here we go. 2, 3. Works pretty good, but let's get letter A. Let's try the letter B. Yeah, I miss him. Yeah, my 40. He likes to write notes. He sent me all these notes in the mail, you know, me and my current wife. I said, wait a minute, James. Yeah, miss him, my friend. It's 6:58, and I have one more question left. Yes.
You mentioned the importance of the bandstand over and over again. It's just thinking about the fact that students and music students are increasing more and more, and clubs are closing fast. Boston lost 2 of its clubs over the past year, for example, and yet we have more students than you can imagine. And I'm not going to ask you what do you think about that, but I'm going to ask you, do you think that that's affecting the music?
Clearly what's affecting is how easily guys can get gigs. In New York, they will go to a pizza shop. There's 1 table and 3 chairs and ask the guy to hire them for a weekend. They're making their places to play in New York. You know? Speaking of Boston, which you just mentioned, that blows my mind that you have all those intellectual institutes in Boston and not one jazz club. I don't get that. None. I mean, there's some around there, but they aren't on the scale of the Village Vanguard in terms of longevity or measurable in terms of uniqueness or smoke. You know, I have no understanding as why a town with that intellectual sensitivity, theoretically, doesn't devote some of that stuff towards the only music that they own, that they have to take pride of. This is our music. I just don't get that. But the music will survive despite that. It won't be easy. I think it's necessary that it survive for a lot of reasons. But because it's 7 o'clock, I can't tell you all of them. So, let's close this event by me telling you, thank you for taking part of your day off to come here and hear an old man tell some young stories. Thank you, my friend, for being the one who says,
Hi.
all right. That's A-Y-E. And thank you for being here, and I'll see you Friday. Having said that, wait, sit down, man. Having said that, I have a photographic memory. And I remember all your faces. And if I come to the stage on Friday, and you're all not there, no concert. I'm going home early. Thank you.